It's not the murder that makes me cry, it's how they got there. It's not about the destination, it's about the journey. Hey guys, it's Nicole. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel if you are new here. Don't forget to subscribe. I like to post about books and music, mostly Taylor Swift. Today I'm going to be reacting to Phoebe Bridgers' album Stranger in the Alps. I did a reaction to Punisher several months ago at this point, and I said I was going to react to this one, but we're finally getting around to it. I always fulfill my promises. Sometimes they just take longer than others, but I do like write down all requests in a notes app, and like anything I say I'm going to do, I do write it down so that it never escapes me. Some things just take a little bit longer. There are other videos I prioritize, but anyways, I am repping my current favorite Phoebe Bridgers song, Chinese Satellites. I can't get this line out of my head. I think it's so catchy and beautiful, and that song makes me cry, and I just got this my favorite one. I also really like Kyoto. If I'm being honest, I haven't revisited that album too much other than the tracks that really stood out to me the first time around, but I do really enjoy Phoebe Bridgers' voice and her lyricism. My god, I think it's just some of these sounds and music that doesn't stick with me quite as much, but she can write her lyrics. I love her voice on Nothing New with Taylor Swift, so I am excited to see what this one is all about and how it differs from Punisher. Quick disclaimer, I will be listening to these tracks through my headphones so that this video does not get copyrighted. I really don't want to deal with it getting blocked. I'm done with that. Okay, so there are a ton of self-written songs on this one. I'm pretty sure there were a ton on the first album I reacted to as well. I'm literally like 3 lines in and I'm already Googling what it means to Walden it. Oh, okay, secluding yourself from the hustle and bustle of everyday life. I really like the chorus melody. That melody of the violins. You know what it makes me think of? It makes me think of the melody on the piano from Turning Page by Sleeping at Last. Just something that is very heart-wrenching, brings tears to your eyes in a very musical sense. The sound hurts, not as much as the lyrics because I'm a little bit confused, but I like that her lyrics do have a lot of depth to them. There's like an airplane sound panning from ear to ear in the third verse. This guitar makes me think of Jack Antonoff's style of production. Yeah, that outro that fades out with that guitar kind of makes me think of like Supercut by Lorde a little bit. I wish I knew more what to think lyrically. I need to like dissect this more. I do love the atmospheric tendencies she has in her writing. God, she's spilling beans in the second verse about this person. Spilling beans? How old am I? Spilling tea? No, that doesn't feel right. Like revealing a lot of things. The chorus is pretty self-explanatory. You must have been looking for me, sending smoke signals, pelicans circling, burning trash on the beach. So it's all these things you do to escape a desert island. And this character does seem to really like to isolate themselves, and Phoebe tries to like do so with them, but it kind of drives her mad a little bit. That's kind of what I'm getting from it. Especially in the first verse, she says like, we spent a week in the cold just long enough to Walden it with you any longer, and that would have gotten old. Like Phoebe does not like to isolate herself. Kind of incompatible. God, what does the fourth verse mean? I buried a hatchet, it's coming up lavender. Lavender's peaceful. I buried the hatchets, so there's no more bad blood. Everything's peaceful. The future's unwritten. The past is a corridor. I'm at the exit looking back through the hall. So she's reflecting on the past. So it's all about reminiscing. Okay, so I understand this as an opening track, like she's looking back on the past, ready to move forward, like kind of a wrap up, I guess, of what had happened previously. I like the last line. You're anonymous, I'm a concrete wall. I think about how so many poems and just works of literature in general are published by anonymous, almost to the point where like to say something is anonymous, it's almost like the opposite of that. Like they say like who's the most published writer, anonymous. So she's saying this person is like anonymous but also known to people at the same time, and then she calls herself a concrete wall. Like she's below the state of anonymous to the point where she's so hard to penetrate, nobody knows anything about her, even at her level of fame, maybe. That is just a very surface level quick interpretation of mine. It's kind of depressing, but that's something that we also kind of saw on the other album as well. I really like it, and I love that violin. I feel like this one is a pretty famous one, and I don't think I've ever heard it at all. Ooh, such pretty like country western acoustic guitar. Oh, I have heard this. Why do I feel like Phoebe Bridgers has lived like 1,500 lives? These details, like, are these real? You gave me 1,500 to see your hypnotherapist. I only went one time, you let it slide. Really good chorus melody again. There's so much happening lyrically, I can't even keep up. This guitar is really nice. It builds a lot right before the bridge. I like seeing a little more dynamics in her music because I feel like otherwise it's very mellow. You were in a band when I was born. I like how the last chorus is so loud and powerful. It kind of feels a little nauseating, kind of like motion sickness. Okay, I need to go back. I'm on the outside looking through. You're throwing rocks around your room, and while you're bleeding on your back in the glass, I'll be glad that I made it. Oh, I know what that means. Those who live in glass houses shall not throw stones. Oh my god. So he's taking shots either at her or maybe even other people as well. Like, he's really argumentative and she doesn't want to have to be the one to sit there in the fallout, I guess. That's good. That's so good. That like metaphor imagery, it's so extended. It's the entire third verse. She took one metaphor and just developed it through the whole verse. It's kind of like that All Too Well vibe of like dating an older guy, but less lyrical, which doesn't make sense since they are lyrics. But I mean, like, she throws in some things that seem to not make much sense. Like, why do you sing with an English accent? I guess it's too late to change it now. Like, at first you're like, how is this relevant to your relationship with him? But it's kind of like, I guess his habits, and if they're bad and if they're destructive, especially to her, like, how will they ever change? Just like the habits that are maybe less destructive. You know, if somebody can't change even the smallest things like that, how could they ever change something major? Like being awful to people. I don't know, that's kind of how I'm seeing it. I love diving into these and I'm really liking the melody so far. Oh boy, I'm excited for this one based on that title. She makes me think of Bob Dylan, not in the vocal delivery, in the melodies a little, and the folk sound. Oh, the harmonies in the second verse, shit. It's sad. This one really makes me think of a female Bob Dylan who like can sing a lot better. The way she sings, Jesus Christ. Wow, this is really folky. Jesus Christ, that was rough. I'm already in a bit of a fragile state of mind because I'm pretty sleep deprived. But oh my god, that one verse, hang on. Last night I blacked out in my car and I woke up in my childhood bed, wishing I was someone else, feeling sorry for myself when I remembered someone's kid is dead. Jesus Christ. Like, someone always has it worse, but it's like, I don't know, sometimes you think like that and it truly does make you try to put things into perspective. Like, it's very not helpful to tell somebody, oh, well, they are dealing with this, which is so much worse, so you shouldn't feel this way. That's not helpful. But I mean, when you're like talking to yourself, I guess, and like trying to pull yourself out of that, to just think like, okay, I'm just gonna be grateful for what is not going wrong, because sometimes you just have to. The chorus is really simple, which you don't see much with Phoebe's lyrics, like something very simplified. Jesus Christ, I'm so blue all the time, and that's just how I feel, always have, and always will. I like that she does that because the verses are really detailed and really further along the story and her thought processes. Processes? Is that a word? Processes? I need to go to bed. So this is about somebody who had a heroin overdose and was a close friend of Phoebe's. How has she been through so many things? I have no idea what to expect from this one. There's this background sound in the second verse that sounds like a spaceship. It's very alien-y. It's like a high tone that like wavers a little. I don't want to be stoned anymore. I don't want to be alone anymore. This one is definitely not too clear, and I will not be convinced otherwise because it truly is quite short in lyrics. Like, there's not much going on and there's some repetition happening. The situations that she mentions in the verses are pretty short. Like, you could glean a lot of meanings from those. So I feel like this is really something for the listeners to make their own interpretations of. I have no idea how Demi Moore applies to this. There's a phone ringing in the background. Now a train. It feels like it's a song about a run-in she had with this person on Scott Street, which is where they used to live together. And in the song they run into each other, she's asking this like small talk type of stuff and he's refusing to buy it and like giving these pessimistic answers because, I mean, small talk catch up type of conversation is just annoying. How's playing drums said it's too much shit to carry. And what about the band? They're all getting married. God, the daunting aspects of the continuous passage of time. And the ending is really powerful because she says, anyway, don't be a stranger, and like walks off down the street, I guess, is what I'm picturing in my head. Like, I imagine she's having this run-in with this person and it's like very awkward and like sad to experience this conversation, I guess. And like, I love that she wrote a song about this because this is very relatable to a lot of people, even if it's specific details from her own life and her own relationship with him and conversation. But yeah, we've all had those kinds of run-ins. So sad and mellow, what the heck? My god, funeral, killer. Ooh, piano. Is this the first time piano showed up? Someone's singing with her. Oh, the chord on Hungry for Blood. Of course, that's one of the prettiest chords. It's kind of jazzy. There's Nothing I Can Do. That chord was nice too. I really like this chorus. God, these chords are so pretty. I'm tilting my head back so the tears welling in my eyes will just run back down my throat instead of messing up my makeup. Oh crap, I think one leaked. It's romantic in the same way I Will Follow You Into the Dark is romantic. The second verse, what the heck, Phoebe? But when I'm sick and tired and when my mind is barely there, when a machine keeps me alive and I'm losing all my hair, I hope you kiss my rotten head and pull the plug. Phoebe, what the fuck? It's also just the chords. My god, the chorus really sounds like this jazzy love song, especially the last couple lines. Now it's just everywhere. Okay, please don't run into my mouth. I'm way too sleep deprived for this. Can the killer in me tame the fire in you? So Phoebe sees herself as this like very dominating person, but this other person is also very independent. So she's like, can I get you to stay with me? Essentially, she's sick of the chase and sick of like having to put this effort into keeping him around, but she's so in love, like it's just useless. Why is the second verse so sad? You didn't have to do that. You could just make a song that's like, man, I'm so desperate to have you around, but I'm so tired of putting all this effort in, and that could have just been the end of it. No, we had to talk about pulling the plug on her. I think the first verse is kind of interesting. Sometimes I think I'm a killer. I scared you in your house. I even scared myself by talking about Dahmer on your couch. There's a dark humor in like this person being scared of her, thinking she's a killer, but she's kind of joking like, haha, too bad I can't sleep next to a body. That's not very reassuring, Phoebe. Georgia, I love your son. For a second I thought she was talking about the state and like the sunniness of it. Maybe it's meant to be that way. He has beautiful bones. This is why people think you're a killer, Phoebe. That's a really interesting pre-chorus. It's got this crazy percussion. That one was very mellow. I mean, it had some interesting percussion. So Georgia is this son's mother's name. She's in love with the son. Sometimes when he looks at me, I know he needs you. You're all that he sees. Jesus. I think the meaning of this song is found in the second verse. Here's my day plan, here's my new machine. He's a fine new addition, so young and so clean. He fits well into her life and it looks good on paper, but it's really not a relationship that feels right. He came up through the water without a sound. With my back to the shoreline, I dreamt that he drowned. Like, she doesn't know how to end this. She doesn't want to make a big deal of anything. She just wants him to like disappear. Maybe she wouldn't feel so bad if he just disappeared. This is an interesting one. And I guess this is a song she wrote when she was like 16, which is literally insane to me. To have that kind of mysticism in your lyrics and details and depth of thought at 16, that's really shocking to me. What the fuck was that? Oh my god. Okay, so this is, I guess, like a true crime song. I actually did not know about this. I'm not familiar with these Sex Pistols. I guess their lead singer like killed his girlfriend and they were both addicts. The depth of the lyrics is absolutely like insane to me. At first I thought this song was like addressing her mental illness possibly. For chemical imbalance, you sure know how to ride a train. She's talking to her brain, like chemically imbalanced, but like has a good train of thought or something. Like maybe Phoebe is experiencing depression, but also is very hyper focused on things. I was like, oh my god, this is so much self-awareness, and then it kept going and I was like, that is not what's going on. She wrote this at 16. 16. I am completely speechless. The insight in this is flabbergasting. We're both very sick, our muscles all worn down. It's as if we are 100. No, I won't still be around because I've fallen. Yes, I've fallen right into the love I found. Long before I reach 100, I'll have fallen to the ground. A 16-year-old wrote that from the perspective of somebody who was killed by their boyfriend. What? And for generations, they'll romance us, make us more or much less than ever was before. The Chelsea and the floor. Make us stand before the masses like two speakers for the poor. When there was no revolution, nothing we were fighting for. Holy shit. So he murdered her in the Chelsea hotel, I suppose. She was found on the floor. She's saying like the media will either romanticize this, maybe turn it into like a biopic or whatever, or people will be like, oh my god, such stupid celebrity crap, and look down on it, and like there will be no humanization of these two. I don't even know anything about this story. I'm just viewing this through Phoebe's writing purely. Like two speakers for the poor, when there was no revolution, nothing we were fighting for. People trying to like pull a deeper meaning out of this, when in reality it was just like two troubled people who were addicted and in a toxic relationship. So long, prison boy, I won't be home. I won't be home with you tonight. I can't understand. Now, musically, this one really didn't like snag me in any way. I don't know if I'll really listen to this again, but I mean, she originally wrote it as a poem and it definitely feels that way. The lyrics are the complete star of the entire show here. I feel like it's just the music accompanies it because that's how we listen to poems these days. Nobody really reads poems, and there are only very few contemporary poets who are published. Like, if you want to be a poet, become a lyricist. Like, write your own music. It doesn't even have to be anything crazy. crazy because I truly don't even really remember how this sounds. But the lines, I'm at a loss for words again. Sorry. I know this is supposed to be a reaction review. It's more just me reacting in speechless ways. I really like the one-word titles. They're very effective and detailed. Okay, I really like this melody and this guitar. This is really nice. Playing Would You Rather when it comes to fire, you always say that you'd prefer to drown. You were still in the ambulance when the cops suggested you're the one who tried to burn it down. Now we're dealing with arson. This is also really relatable to people who've gone through something traumatic like this. Like, let's say your friend does something horrible or unthinkable, and then you flash back to a moment when you're like, shit, I should have seen the signs. My God, what a way to put that into words. It's a duet. This sounds like the strings of a piano that's being played. This one is so pretty and it's like sweet, but also just a horrible experience. This is about a sibling. I'm assuming she has a little brother. Oh my God. So I guess he got in trouble, arson, as stated in the first verse. The chorus is like they communicated with each other and like strategized their way out of an abusive household together. It is so lucky to have a sibling when you're in that situation. Like, you're not alone, but it's also awful to watch your sibling go through the same shit, especially when they're younger and you feel like overprotective of them. He's half the man and you're twice as tall. This is about their father. Next time I see you, you'll show me 100 different ways to say the same things. This is something sweet that I see as like him allowing Phoebe to like let out all this lyrical pent-up energy on him. Like, she has a million different ways of saying something and phrasing something in a way no one's ever heard before, or no one's ever thought of it like that way before. It might mean something else, but that's how I see it, and I think that's really cute and sweet. Oh my God, it's just like how they were able to escape. She reminisces on the bad parts and how awful it was, but like, by God, they got out by some miracle. I don't think this is gonna be as sweet as it sounds. You missed my heart when she stabbed him. You've got to be kidding me. I called it. Okay, so this is actually a cover. I was about to be like, bitch, what the fuck? Get yourself to therapy. No, but whoever wrote this, Jesus Christ. It's a little more straightforward than Phoebe's writing, so I was a little bit surprised at first thinking that she wrote it because it follows like a plot, which I don't think I've seen in her writing. You know, it starts off with this guy showing up at his ex's house and broke into her house. Her new man is there and like tries to reassure her. The narrator stabs him. He says like, you got me good, I knew you would, but you missed my heart. And then he died. And then this woman, his ex, is like terrified, screaming, crying. He chased her up the stairs and pinned her to the ground. He could hear the sirens coming. He listed off all the things he misses about her. Going to the movies, the way she kissed, driving into downtown, all this stuff he did with her. Oh my God, she starts laughing. This is psychopathic. She says, that's quite a list, but there's one thing you missed my heart. This makes me think of No Body, No Crime. Like, you take the same kind of line and apply it to different situations. Oh my God, I wonder if Taylor knows this song. So then he's running away from the cops. They drag him to jail. He tried to commit suicide. I don't want to get demonetized, but he failed. And then he tried escaping prison and they shot him, not lethally, but they strapped him to a gurney, took him to the hospital, and then he does end up passing away. And he says, he missed my heart. He got me good, I knew he would, but he missed my heart. What the heck? And then the last verse, that's what really just freaking screwed me up. As he's fading, like literally dying, he has like a dream that comes to him of his childhood. What? And the way it's written, lying there, my lifeblood draining out of me, a childhood scene, night sky, moonbeams, fishing with my friends, sitting in the wild reeds, watching the Ohio River flow at night, waiting for the bull-headed catfishes to bite, downriver from the Moundsville prison graveyard. So he grew up right next to like his final resting place. What the fuck is this? Oh my God, someone get this bitch a therapist. What? Who? I don't even know what to think. That last part is what really made me the most sad, because otherwise it's just like a made-up story. Like, it's kind of, you feel detached while you're listening to it because it's just so chaotic and like bam, 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 one thing after the other, chaos. But then the last verse, like, to watch someone make all these bad choices in their life and how short the distance is from like their horrible, terrible ending to like their childhood. No, that's honestly something that really disturbs me. The idea that like someone you knew as a child and you only knew their like most innocent form, however many years later they go on to do horrible things to people. What the fuck? I need to go to bed. Ugh, damn it. It's not the murder that makes me cry, it's how they got there. It's not about the destination, it's about the journey. Okay, maybe I can move on now. I hate that. I mean, like, I love it, but I hate it. I never want to look at that again. Okay, so I know what's coming. I'm not unprepared for this next one. Thank God, because I don't need any surprises after that one. Sounds very safe. Oh, this is very short. It's on ukulele and it's all like reverby. Oh, so it's just her humming. Okay, I mean, it sounded good. So that's the ending of the standard edition. Holy shit. Phoebe Bridgers needs therapy bad. I don't understand how so many awful things can happen to one person. Or maybe it's not that they're happening to her, but she just feels things very deeply to the people that are around her for any period of time at all. I've definitely been there in my life. I like the lyricism more on this one because she gets into some really bold stuff, but there are more standouts on the other album I reacted to, Punisher. Like Kyoto and Chinese Satellite are like really golden to me. Like those are such good songs. This is more consistently good, but it doesn't have anything as good as Chinese Satellite or Kyoto, I think. Well, I don't know. Chelsea was good, Motion Sickness was good, Funeral was good. They're both really good albums. Okay, now we're gonna listen to the bonus tracks, It'll All Work Out, which is a cover of a Tom Petty song. God, I could listen to her sing anything and it will just sound like a Phoebe Bridgers song. Like just a very signature, I don't know. She has a way of making covers sound like she wrote them. The parts in Nothing New that she sings, I feel like she wrote them. I know Taylor wrote that song herself a very long time ago, but Phoebe just adds this personalization to these songs. Oh, this is so pretty. I already forgot this as a cover. It feels like her song. Voice is so interesting and distinct. Very calming. Also putting me just in a dark, depressive place. I mean, it's all about regretting ending this relationship. I love the opening lines. She wore faded jeans and soft black leather. She had eyes so blue they looked like weather. She needed me, I wasn't around. That's the way it goes. It'll all work out. Like he's accepting, okay, I will be okay. But it sucks that he didn't do what he could have done to keep her around. Like she realized she's worth more than his lack of effort, I guess. Fucking sad. My God, does she have a single happy song? I can't listen to this when I feel like this. I liked this one. It didn't make me cry, so that's good. Well, this album has really high ratings. That's really nice. Your debut album to be reviewed so well. I love that for her. Oh, the demo's cool. It sounds like it was recorded on an iPhone. She changed some of the melodies. It's like, it's got this vibrato in it in the beginning. This has some of the best melodies on the album. Did she change it from English accent to British? I think this is an iPhone demo because you can hear her like picking it up and stopping it, I think. It feels like it has a little more emotion in the sadness department, I guess. But the studio version sounds a little angrier. It's got that like clean sound to it. Like it's very like one of the best takes, obviously. It's a lot more polished and I think it's a little more effective that way. And it's a little faster. So it has this like drive to it that the demo doesn't have, which I like because I like her kind of like sassy anger that happens in it. Yeah, I really enjoy her lyricism and her covers also kind of like on the same level because she picks really good covers. She makes them her own and I start to think that she wrote it. Or I go into it knowing it's a cover and then I start playing it and I'm like, oh my God, she's such a good writer. Like she just has such a distinct sound and voice. Again, I don't think I'm going to be revisiting this album much though, even though it is really good, just because it's like so sad and mellow and like, I don't know, it's different in the way I revisit Folklore, which is also relatively sad and mellow. I don't know what it is. She just, I mean, she focuses on really heavy topics like song after song after song, while Folklore and Evermore kind of the only heavy songs on those two would probably be Epiphany and Marjorie. Happiness to an extent, but it's just not as gut-wrenching. Like this entire album is like you're twisting a knife through my stomach and you miss my heart. I really enjoy it and she is an incredibly talented lyricist. I view her songs very much as poems. Like I see Taylor as like a lyricist, but Phoebe, I feel like her putting her words to music is just the smartest way for her to get her poems out there. And she even said herself she writes poems. One of those songs was taken from a poem that she wrote, Chelsea, when she was 16. That's what's the hardest to believe. It's crazy that she was that good at that young of an age. I wonder where she's going to go in the future because she only has 2 albums, so I do wonder if she's going to change up her genre at all at any point. I don't know, I'm very curious to see where she goes with her career. Standout tracks, I do like Motion Sickness, Chelsea. I like You Miss My Heart. It hurts really bad. I never want to listen to it again. I like Funeral. That also really hurts. I never want to listen to it again, but also one of my favorites. Does anybody else feel me? I would love to hear your favorite tracks down in the comments. Please let me know. Which album do you prefer by her? Because I don't think I can make a decision. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you want to follow me on my Instagram, it is right here. And if you want to follow me on my TikTok, that is right here. Please leave me any requests you might have down below. And I will see you very soon for another video. And I hope you have an amazing day. Bye, guys.